Welcome to the Inc. Productivity Tip of the Day. Today's tip. This 139-year-old iconic American brand just made a mistake no company should make. An expert opinion from Jason Ayton. Last week, Del Monte, the iconic American brand known for selling fruit, filed for bankruptcy protection. In a statement, the company said that it would pursue a sale of its assets. Greg Longstreet, the company's president and CEO, said, "This is a strategic step forward for Del Monte Foods. After a thorough evaluation of all available options, we determined a court-supervised sale process is the most effective way to accelerate our turnaround and create a stronger and enduring Del Monte Foods." There are a few things going on here. We'll get to the part about how one of the most recognizable brands in the grocery store will never be the same in a minute. But first, nothing about that statement makes any sense. While the company didn't file for Chapter 7, which means it isn't technically liquidating the company, it did say it's planning to sell of all or substantially all of its assets. That's not exactly a turnaround. Maybe some of its brands will live on with other companies. Maybe some of its factories will get purchased by other packaged food makers. None of it is clear, but it's strange that the CEO is talking about long-term success in the context of selling off the company for parts. In the meantime, the company says it has already secured more than $900 million in financing to keep operations afloat while it looks for a buyer. It also says it'll keep filling orders and shipping products in the meantime. Look, bankruptcy is almost never a thing that happens overnight. In Del Monte's case, the company made a number of mistakes over the course of several years, beginning with the pandemic. In fact, its story isn't all that unique. I call it the Peloton problem. You know, the bike company that ramped up production during COVID because people were afraid to go outside, so they bought up all the exercise equipment they could as fast as they could? And so the company spent millions on a big shiny factory to crank out as many bikes as possible, assuming the trend would continue forever. Of course, it shouldn't have come as a surprise that as people started to go back outside and to gyms and to, movie theaters and restaurants, they might be less inclined to buy $2,000 exercise bicycles. When that happened, the company was stuck with a warehouse full of bikes no one was buying. That's basically what happened with Del Monte. Except instead of a warehouse full of bicycles, the company was stuck with a very large pantry full of corn and sliced peaches. Del Monte saw unexpected growth during the pandemic as consumers spent a lot more time eating at home. The company took on a massive amount of debt to finance all of that increased production. As people's buying habits changed and the price of inputs, such as metal, increased due to tariffs, it became impossible to continue. That's saying something. Del Monte has been around as a company since 1886. The name has been used as a food distributor even longer. That's before the Statue of Liberty was dedicated and before the Ford Motor Company was founded. Del Monte is literally older than sliced bread. For most of that time, it was a staple in American kitchens. Peaches, corn, green beans, and tomatoes. If it could be canned, you could probably find it with a Del Monte label. But being an iconic brand doesn't immunize you from making bad decisions. In the end, Del Monte's story isn't just about changing tastes or shifting grocery trends. It's about what happens when a company confuses brand familiarity with brand durability. When leadership assumes that being iconic is the same as being indispensable. Because brands don't survive on nostalgia. Instead, they survive on relevance, trust, and smart decisions. Del Monte had the first two. It lost the third. You can hear it in the CEO's carefully worded optimism, his talk of long-term success, and accelerating a turnaround. It raises the question, what if the company had put as much thought into its leadership choices as it clearly did into its PR statements? The lesson is simple. Reputation can carry you a long way, but it won't carry you forever. It turns out, even iconic brands have expiration dates. That's it from Inc. You can find more expert opinions from today's top business coaches and thought leaders at Inc. Be sure to come back tomorrow for another tip from Inc.